Oh, look at that blue sky behind me. That's pretty. It's deceiving though because it's really windy and cold. So hello everybody. I am on my way to the post office and I decided to turn the camera on before I got completely into town because I wanted to show you that house there. That big yellow house, which is right across from Allred's funeral home on the corner of Main and Julius. That'd be South Main. That used to be the house of a guy named Thornton Patterson. And he was a baker who owned the bakery before Henry, right? Henry's Bakery. And kind of a cool dude. I did a little research on him. He actually saved a kid's life drowning in Lake Chapin. That's kind of neat. So I'm walking up here. Sorry for the wind. It's windy. And I want to show you this house over here, which is on the corner of Pitt and Main. And that is the house I wanted to show you the last time, but I didn't. So, look a little closer here. That is the Henry Kephart house. Okay. And Henry Kephart came to Berrien Springs in 1945, 46, right around 1845, sorry. With his dad, Phil Kephart, who was a druggist, and they lived in a house that later became the Hotel Orinoco. And when they moved out of that house, Phil died in 1890, and they moved out of that house and they built, well, Henry built that one, Henry and his wife. So I only found one little newspaper clipping that alluded to him having a house built at the corner of the southwest corner of Pitt and Main. So there you go again. So this here is the old Shug's parking lot, and at one time that used to be the fire station. And when I grew up, the fire station moved across the street to that building there, right by the alley that goes to Toppers. But that used to be the fire station, which was right behind the drugstore. So isn't it funny how Henry Kephart, who was the druggist, he lived there and he worked right here. This is business. So I'm gonna pause the video for a brief second while I cross the road because I don't want to get killed. Not today. It's my birthday. I can't get killed on my birthday, right? And I'll be back when I determine which way I'm gonna go. Alright. Yeah, it's so nice in our post office. Anyway, let's go around this way. Now, I will note that I don't know how long Henry Kephart lived in that house, because by the time he was, in his 80s, he and his wife, I think her name was Ellen, don't quote me on that, I'll have to double check, but they lived behind the Jack Frost, which I don't know when Jack Frost started, but they lived in the house that was tore down when they had to build Rite Aid. So I found a couple articles about that too, and I don't remember that house. I wish I did, because I was clearly alive by then. But anyway, so that house of course is on Kephart Road. Makes sense. And I think it was a big old nice house, old, but I'll have to do more research on that though. Okay, so that used to be the Fifth Third Bank, or Old Kent Bank. And I'm going to go around the block here. I'm passing Village Hall, which probably was built around the same time as the post office, probably like the 1960s. Now, Speedway gas station, where our gas is still way too much. I got it the other day in Benton Harbor for like $2.63 a gallon, and here it is $3.19. But anyway, Speedway gas station, you guys probably remember my story about Roscoe Dix, and he was a banker. He had a title and abstract firm, and his house stood at that corner, and then it became a hotel called the Wren, and then later the Chalet. Oh, and I'm gonna get hit by a Berrien Springs truck here if I'm not careful. Alright, so we're going around this way because I missed this block last time I walked home. There's a lot of cool history on this block. So Roscoe Dix, who was a Civil War vet, he was in business with a guy by the name of Thomas Lee Wilkinson, and he lived in that blue house, which you can see. That blue house used to stand on the corner, and Thomas Lee Wilkinson married Adeline Graham, George Graham's daughter. Now, real quick, like here, Town Hall Pizza, one of my favorite places to eat in Berrien Springs, probably my favorite place to eat. Salt Haven, they do a very good business as well there. Town Hall Pizza used to be Roma's, and before that was the Green Lantern. So that was a pretty cool place too, the way I read it. Across the street here we have Village Hardware, Rick's Auto place there. That used to be, no, I take it back. I was going to say that used to be a Sinclair gas station, but the gas station was actually one block further. Or no, you know what? I think that's right, because the church was there, and that used to be a United Brethren church, and now it's this Spanish Seventh-day Adventist church. And the Sinclair Auto, or Sinclair gas station, used to be on that corner. Right. Let's see here. About 4 doors down, middle of the block somewhere, I would say. I misspoke last time. I said it was a funeral home. It wasn't a funeral home. It was a guy who was an undertaker by the name of Daniel Gogler back in the late 1800s, and he was a carpenter. And back in the day, carpenters were usually the undertakers too, because they were the ones who were building the boxes to bury people in. So somewhere right around, probably one of those 2 tall buildings, but of course it wasn't brick yet, so I'm pretty sure it was just a wood frame building at that point. Now, straight ahead in the shorter building, if you can see the name up top, says Wesner 1925. I did some research on him. I don't remember his first name now, but he died tragically in a cave-in accident where he was kind of buried alive underneath dirt, and it was pretty horrific. But he must have owned that building at one point because his name's on it. So, also, just to point out here, there's a lot going on here. This Patty Rabbit Yarn building, I'm pretty sure that's the building that is, or was at one time, Thomas Lohr's hardware store, and he only was open for business for like 2 or 3 years. But I did find a nice souvenir plate with his name on it in the dump behind my house. So that's kind of cool. And I wrote an article about him and his family. Now, walking down here, let me just stop briefly because I haven't really talked about the Lint Agency building, but that at one time was a department store called Hendelman's, and there were several shops throughout here. There's a lot of good postcards from this general area right here with a bunch of old cars and even like even going back further, wagons and horse-drawn carriages and that sort of thing. There are hat shops. There's like in the mid 1900s, there was a Indies market was there. There's a place called Colby's. A lot of different things right in that stretch there in the middle of the block. So, of course, here the Journal Era used to be the Berrien Springs State Bank. Now, which way should I go here? I think I'll go this way. I kind of talked about that before, that block over there. The place that's soon to be AJ's again, the corner, the last two corner stores that used to be a place called Stover's Meat Market. Alright, let's go. I almost had a chance to go. Alright, I'm going now. So this corner store here, which is now Frontier Dental Studio, it used to be Eli's Hardware, it used to be Warren's Hardware. It used to be a couple drugstores too. Colvin's drugstore, an ice cream parlor. Also used to be Bernard's drugstore. It just shared my Halloween story, which that Halloween picture was right. I just crossed over where that Halloween picture was taken. This store here, well, Adventist Frontier Missions now. This big building. At one time that used to be right underneath it. I always loved that little peak on the top. But at one time that used to be a store, department store, owned by a guy named Frank Ford. And at one time Oliver plows were sold there too, or right next door. But anyway, Frank Ford went out of business. I think he had to go into bankruptcy and kind of ran out of town. So here we go, the Berry Theater across the road, Topper's Bar across the road. Used to be a place called Jim's Place. This here used to be the 31 Bar back in the day. Walking right by the parking lot of Harding's, which we all still call Schrader's, and that used to be a harness shop, and that's where Bill Mikesell was shot and killed by his son in self-defense. Real quick, like, I'm gonna zoom in. This house, the nice little brick house there, that was the Robert Rennie house. He was a blacksmith. That's the first brick house built in Berrien Springs. The guy takes real good care of it now. I love that place too. This corner lot here used to be Jacob Boone's blacksmith shop, and I remember it as Ridge and Kramer, and now it's Shiloh's place. And across the road, when I get a chance here, and I think I got time. So, this is very familiar territory. Nikki's Cafe used to be Shamrock Grill, and in my memories, it used to be Daybreak, right? But Nikki's moved from over there where the Wilkinson house used to be. There's the Rotary Park access road that is blocked with a bunch of snow right now, but that's where the Hotel Orinoco, or the original Kephart residence, used to be, and it took up half this block. Now we have a bunch of Dutch colonial style houses that were built around 1910, because Hotel Orinoco burned down in 1906. And what was that? Anyway, so I'm pretty much at the end of my tour. I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. The river is that way. That's where I mudlark, right down there from where the hotel used to stand. There used to be a super old house that stood on this lot, and they tore that down last last summer, I think it was. The Kern house. That went back to, I think, like the 1860s. So, anyway, in here you can again see right there, Kephart house. The second Kephart house. There were a lot of Kephart houses. Well, there was even more Kephart houses because there were a lot of Kepharts. Oh, here, I should have probably said something when I was closer, but that house there, which you can see, big brick house, that used to be Dr. Smith's house. And you guys remember I wrote about Dr. Smith. He also had a house on the corner of Pokagon and Deans Hill Road. That was the house, I think that was his second house. He lived there, here in town, and then he lived out there. But Dr. Smith was the one who went through a real nasty divorce in, like, it was 1926. And after he moved out, it later became the Griner Funeral Home. So that's a neat old house too, and I've actually been in that one several times. I know people who live there. Actually used to cat sit there a few times, and I'm not a ghost person. I thought I heard a ghost one night. I heard footsteps coming down the hallway. I was spending the night and got a little spooked out, right? I was like, oh, this place used to be a funeral home. There's probably tons of ghosts in here, right? No, it was just a cat. It was a very large cat walking down the hall. That was funny. Anyway, speaking of ghosts, the lady who lives in the yellow Patterson house swears up and down that it's haunted. So hopefully I'll get a chance to go in that maybe later this year. She wants to, she invited me and a friend to come over and open a basement door that hadn't been open like 50 years or something like that. Not spooky at all. Not spooky at all, I promise. So I'm on my way home now. Oh, here, the Trinity Lutheran School. Now an apartment building. 4 apartments in there, and currently listed for sale if anybody wants to buy it. Have a good day. I'm almost home. The wind died down, of course, because I'm gonna stop talking.